Noswaith wythnos dwi wedi bod yn San Steffan ac mae'n bleser. Sôn am wythnos brysur dwi wedi a gael. It's been a busy first week back in Westminster. I started the week by meeting with the International Trade Secretary, Liz Truss, to discuss recent trade agreements and to ensure that the farming community, island businesses and exporters on Anglesey have a voice and remain front and centre of UK government policy. I welcomed Ynys Morn's constituency's protected status. We had confirmation in the Boundary Commission proposals. And in Treasury questions on Tuesday, I asked the Minister to urge the Welsh Government to work with me to deliver plans for at least one new free port in Wales. Then I met with the NFU President Minette Batters to discuss my amendments to the upcoming Kept Animals Bill and how I can continue to fight for farmers on Anglesey and right across Wales. I met with the DWP Secretary of State, Therese Coffey, to share how hard the Amlock Job Centre team have been working remotely over the pandemic and also to thank her for her role in reopening the Amlock Job Centre. I had a meeting with Rolls-Royce, the SMR Small Modular Reactor team, yesterday, and as a result of that meeting, I lobbied the Prime Minister in the 1922 committee in order to get government support to galvanise the billions of pounds worth of money in the private sector. And then yesterday in the Welsh Affairs Select Committee, we had S4C giving evidence. I highlighted the role that they've played in helping me learn Welsh. And also, it was actually Brian Bown, the chair of the NFU, who suggested I watch S4C to help with my Welsh. And because of that, I saw this programme about farming. And there was this farmer who was devastated because his sheep had been attacked by a dog. And when I looked into it, I realised it was a real problem across Anglesey and North Wales. And that led me to publishing a 10-minute rule bill on the Protection of Livestock Dangerous Dog Act. And that was actually published yesterday. If anyone would like a copy, let me know and I'll post you one. I also discussed with the Australian High Commissioner, George Brandis, his forthcoming visit to Anglesey, where we'll be meeting a lot of businesses and a lot of farmers. And we'll also be holding a gala fundraising dinner at Holyhead Golf Club on Friday the 15th of October to raise funds for Anglesey Agricultural Society. So drop me an email if you would like to register for tickets. I've already had many people asking me already. And then today, I finished the week, I was proud to speak in a debate on careers to support my colleague Mark Jenkinson's education 10-minute rule bill. So it's been a fantastic week back, but a very, very busy week. And next week is Nuclear Week. So it's going to be another exciting week for me. I start the week by hosting a roundtable focused on next steps for Wilva Newydd. I'm chairing a seminar on energy and the environment, and then as co-chair of the Nuclear Delivery Group, which is a group I set up with my colleague Trudy Harrison, the MP for Copeland, I will be presenting to the Nuclear APPG. Then I'm going to hotfoot it back to the island to give the keynote speech at the Nuclear Industry Association on Thursday, and that will be at one of my favourite places on the island, MSpark. So why are we all so excited about energy? Well, this November of this year, we'll be hosting the 26th COP conference in Glasgow. And it comes 6 years after COP21, where 196 nations signed the Paris Agreement, which is a legally binding treaty with a long-term goal to keep the global temperature rise to just 1.5% above pre-industrial levels. Now we're in 2021, and so COP26 gives us a real opportunity to focus on how we're going to get net zero. And I'm really proud that back in 2019, the UK government made achieving net zero by 2050 a legally binding commitment. And the UK was the first G7 economy to make this commitment. And we've seen over the last few years net zero targets gaining traction around the world. So really we have been leading this. So with COP26 looming, we're now at a critical juncture where commitments need to be brought forward to set all countries and organisations on the path to net zero. And if we are going to get net zero emissions, we need to have action on a wide range of fronts. But fundamentally, it really demands that we stop burning fossil fuels and instead we replace our current reliance on these carbon intensive fuels with alternative clean energy sources. And by eliminating our dependency on fossil fuels and the decarbonisation of our economy, it won't just help us to tackle the threat of climate change, it's also economically astute because we've got a finite supply of fossil fuels and ever increasing demand from developing countries. So a failure to invest in green technology would simply be a false economy. Of course, there are increasing security and ethical implications in maintaining our dependency on oil and gas, and many of the world's major fossil fuel producers have appalling human rights records. And so becoming self-sufficient in energy through green and clean energy production is crucial for our national security. And here in the UK, we're leading the world in the development of renewable energy technologies. And in Wales, and especially North Wales, we're leading the way in developing offshore wind power generation and tidal power generation. I was actually at Monesto just only last week. But the simple reality is that certainty for the foreseeable future, renewable energy alone cannot compensate for carbon-based fossil fuels. And this week, our neighbour Ireland was forced to freeze power export to the UK to prevent a shortage, which could have sparked blackouts. So in direct relation to these issues, this week the National Grid had to request that a reserve coal-fueled power station, West Burton A, be fired up. So decarbonisation must be a national priority for a myriad of reasons, not just environmental, but it must be acknowledged that our economy cannot decarbonise without nuclear. And nuclear plants such as Wilver here on Anglesey have been providing clean and reliable low-carbon energy for over 65 years, with nuclear delivering around 16% of the UK's electricity supply in 2020. And if we are to reach our net zero targets, continued deployment of new nuclear plants will be key. So the UK government has recognised this with both the 2020 Energy White Paper and the Prime Minister's 10-point plan for a green industrial revolution, highlighting the need to develop not only new technologies, but advanced nuclear power as a reliable source of low carbon electricity. And both of these papers pointed out the need to continue deploying conventional large-scale nuclear plants such as Hinkley Point C, but also looking to the future of nuclear power in terms of small modular reactors, SMRs, and advanced modular reactors, AMRs, as well as fusion technology. So what does this mean for Anglesey? For Anglesey, a new power station, a new nuclear power station in Wilver means jobs and investment. And it's an opportunity that we must seize with every sinnow that we have. It's not just to deliver well-paid long-term jobs and careers. It will ensure that Anglesey is front and centre in leading the UK and the world's drive to decarbonisation. Last month, Ivan Baldwin, who is the Business Development Director at the engineering construction company Bechtel, and Mike Waite, who's the Director of New Plant Development at Westinghouse, we met and I gave them a tour of the island. I took them to see potential development sites and to meet local companies as part of my drive and determination to bring new investment and employment here. In the north of Anglesey, we visited Wilver, also the former Roscoch shell site, and also the old Octel bromine works in Amloch. I then took them to meet Sean McCormick, the Chief Executive of Orthios, based at the old Anglesey aluminium site just outside Holyhead. And then finally, we headed to MSpark to meet with the lovely Mark Salisbury, the National Nuclear Laboratories Head of Reactor Strategy, to discuss the potential site of the UK's first thermal hydraulic testing facility. There's two worldwide so far. There's one in Italy and there's one in the US, and one on Anglesey will make it three and really put us on the global stage. And visits by global companies like these show that Anglesey is being recognised as an attractive place to invest, with good sites available and a skilled workforce keen to get back into manufacturing, especially in nuclear, renewable and green technologies. Decarbonisation and nuclear energy are opportunities to unlock our island's economic potential that must be seized, and I will not rest until these opportunities are realised. I'd like to end by saying I sent my September newsletter out today. I know thousands of you have signed up for it, and I really would appreciate any feedback you have. I'm keen to be the best member of parliament that I can be, and to do that I need your help and I need your feedback. So please do give me some feedback, and if you haven't signed up, drop me an email and I'll add you to the distribution list. And I would like to end by saying have a really good weekend. Pen wythnos da i chi.